So what are you telling your kids to do? Because you have like a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old. And here you are, foremost front end of the previous tech revolution. And you're literally growing brains as computer processors, which is weird. But that's where he is. He's like, look, and this replies to your story. I'm telling my kids they need to be an influencer and they need to be good at sports because those are innately human things.
Welcome to another episode of Coffeez. Bill, thanks for jumping on the show.
Yeah, what a great intro. Thanks for having me here, Joseph. Nice to be here with you.
You know, it's still not sufficient, Bill. You're changing the game in the AI space. I'm excited to have this discussion with you. And if you want, just to give people a quick, 2,000-foot overview of what is it that you do, and what does your organization do, and how can people benefit from this today's show?
Well, Joseph, as you know, because you're a media innovator and you've really used the tools that everything that the internet provides and social media to affect a lot of people's lives. In a similar way, technology is continuing to move real fast, specifically around AI, and the world is changing more rapidly than ever. So we created Twin Protocol not only for the legacy use case that you talked about, being able to talk to your even deceased loved ones in some cases, we could talk about that, but also for people to be able to take part in the AI economy, which is going to be trillions of new money and people don't know how to access. So we're really passionate about bringing our technology, AI, avatars, blockchain to the world to give people the opportunity to adapt to this massive change that's coming. So that's why we created a Twin Protocol, Joseph.
And, recently, I've seen several other applications that have come out with being able to talk to your deceased loved ones. I feel like setting up a deceased loved one twin would take a lot of work, especially with like the lack of data that you could provide or feed the avatar.
Yeah, the one thing that people don't have a lot of these days is they don't know what data to feed into their AI. It's a new problem. So it's not something that people have dealt with for a long time. But I'll give you an example of one. We call them legacy twins. These are twins that basically, you maybe the person's not around or it's your grandmother. And a gentleman that works with us, his name's Curtis. His dad, Gene, was the first presidential helicopter pilot. Now, Gene passed about 7 years ago, and he had a book. He had a book about stories about flying Nixon and flying Carter and flying Ford and flying Kennedy. So we ingested his book, and we had some old video footage of him from like 7 years ago. And you're now able to tell him, say, tell me a story about Nixon flying in a helicopter. What happened in the White House the day you flew Nixon off the lawn and he was doing the peace signs, which he was that pilot in that picture. So it's pretty amazing because his son can talk to him again and relive all those stories. So I think it's really important as time goes on that we start to capture all these stories from our grandmother, our grandfather, our families, and put those into an AI so that legacy can live on. And for generations and generations, they can experience all that wisdom.
That's so cool. And I'm excited to start to play with that concept as well for those deceased loved ones that have passed on me. I don't know how emotional I'll get listening to their voices again, but
Yeah.
it'll be
Yeah, I was
quite the
actually I
experience.
knew Gene, the gentleman we talked about. I was pretty emotional just talking to him because he was my best friend's dad. And I hadn't talked with him for a long time, and being able to interact with him, kind of got emotional for me. And he's not
How
even immediate
similar was
family.
the experience to the
Well,
real thing?
it's obviously AI is limited and emotionally how it can look on camera. It's getting better and better every day. It's a bit scary, but just being able to have a one-to-one interaction with him with questions that I was asking, it's a trip. It's very similar to talking to somebody in real life.
It's just going to keep getting better and better, and in 10 years, you're really going to feel like you're sitting with that person. And probably sooner than
Whether it be a hologram, a humanoid robot talking to your car, a lot of things are happening that are going to be different than we've experienced before in the coming years.
in some ways, that's exciting because, I'll always be able to nag my kids.
Like they want that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be around to, for I was talking to a lot of family offices recently, and they want to pass wisdom and finances. And you have this great transfer from baby boomers over to younger generations because a lot of baby boomers are retiring or passing away. So these family offices are really excited because they want to share the wealth that they've built, but they also want to share their foundation, their mission, their goals, their values. And generations that follow will be able to talk to, the great grandfather who created all the wealth and said, look, I want you to really understand how we did this and how it benefits the family. There's so many use cases.
And to impart that wisdom is really priceless, especially for generations to come, because the wisdom is timeless. Now, let me ask you a couple questions. Before Twin, you launched and exited multiple ventures. Was there a turning point where you really felt pulled to build, this new vertical of AI Twin? Or, what is it that really drew you to this?
Yeah, I've always been drawn. So quick background on me. I've raised about $200 million for startup companies that I've started. And I'm talking idea stage. I'm not talking about Series A, Series B, later stage companies. And for the most part, they've been in human capital management and human performance. I've done some sports stuff and things like that. But I've always been enthralled with how can we leverage technology to make our lives better, to have a better career, to have more opportunity. And when I found blockchain in 2015, the first thing I did is I started to put resumes on chain. 70% of resumes have fake information, but when you put them in blockchain, so it can't be modified because it lives on different servers and you can't just go in and change it. There's what's called an immutable record. We put resumes on chain, and then people could go check to see if a resume had something different than it had yesterday. So you couldn't add 5 years experience or this vertical. So using blockchain and then naturally coming to AI, which I've been involved with since 2015 and has exploded since ChatGPT was launched by OpenAI in the past couple of years, it just naturally leads you in this direction because we're creating an intelligence greater than us, and people need to understand what it is. A lot of people don't understand what's coming with AI. People need to understand what it is, and they need to be able to use it in their own lives. So I'm really passionate about that. People owning their own data and then using it in their lives on a daily basis.
You said something really is thought provoking. You say a lot of people don't understand what's happening with AI and what's coming with AI. What do you think is coming?
If you go to the mission of OpenAI, which is ChatGPT, I think that's a household word now, right? Everybody knows ChatGPT, OpenAI. It's the fastest app to get 800 million users ever. And their mission is they want to achieve artificial general intelligence. So we're not there yet. Let me explain what it is. We're in an era right now of artificial narrow intelligence. Hey AI, count this for me, something narrow. Draw this for me. Write this for me. Edit this for me. Make this contract. That's called narrow AI. The next phase of AI, and there's been many scientists and futurists that have talked about this. One, his name is Ray Kurzweil. He wrote the book, The Singularity is Near. And most recently, The Singularity is Nearer. He talks about artificial general intelligence. This is when AI is as knowledgeable or smart as one person. So you have an AI equal to one person. It could then be the best engineer. It could be the best marketer. It could even be the best surgeon, obviously using different IoT devices and things. So the mission of OpenAI is artificial general intelligence, creating an intelligence that's as smart as a human. There's one more phase beyond this called ASI, artificial superintelligence. And this is when AI is as smart as the entire world all at once and just ripping out Nobel Prize winning ideas every second that could cure cancer and new forms of fusion and what have you, flying cars, whatever the case may be. So people don't understand all of this is happening in the next 5 to 10 years. So with electricity, it gradually grew from the late 1800s till about 1930. Only 30% of US homes had electricity. That was a slow build. This is something we're talking about as fundamental as electricity in the next 5 years. People don't know how to work it into their life, their business. They don't understand how it's going to impact their jobs. So I'm dedicated to helping them.
Kind of sounds scary with artificial superintelligence. I never really heard that word. Artificial general intelligence. I mean, what will AGI and ASI do to employment in general? If you have artificial superintelligence and it's solving global problems, what does that do to every different, economy? What does that do
It does the
to
same thing that electricity did. Electricity obviously changed from an agrarian society into the Industrial Revolution and then beyond. Obviously, electricity is the foundation for this conversation we're having right now. Without it, we couldn't have it. So it gets embedded into the fabric of society. And listen, there's still farmers. of course, there's vertical farming and there's massive agrarian operations and there's Monsanto, and then there's people that just grow food in their backyard. So society changed with electricity, but it had time. It had 100 years to change. We're talking about 10 years now. So everything's compressed. So what it's going to do to jobs is it's going to make a lot of jobs obsolete. It's already doing that to some degree, but it's going to create more millionaires and wealth than the history of humanity has ever seen. So anybody that's watching this, it's not a time to be scared. I get it. I get freaked out by a lot of this stuff too. It's a time to grab it and then get ahead of it and make it like the best time you've ever had, the best economic time for your own personal wealth ever. It's possible.
I mean, yeah, we're gonna see publicly traded companies with one or two people soon, like running the whole company.
They have said that for definitely we're going to have one person companies that are unicorns or billion-dollar companies. But we're also going to see, Joseph, companies run by AIs. So you could educate an AI on being the best podcaster, best media, most creative, fun, funny, and it could be running a company for you, talking to people about why they need to do it, taking them through the process, creating podcast ideas for you. And as we talked about actually before the call a little bit, making the content as an AI twin of you. So not only will humans, one person companies be unicorns, AI run companies will be around as well. And they will employ humans.
So when we have ASI, that will certainly happen because now you have, the smartest being ever times every human being in the world.
Brave new.
I didn't even know those terms. You educated me today. I thought we were just talking about the world of ChatGPT. I didn't know they were trying to achieve AGI and ASI. I thought
Yeah.
next up was augmented reality, but it seems like there's a lot more coming.
There's a lot more coming. And I urge you, if you're watching this, just go look at the mission of OpenAI and you'll see it right there front and center. Artificial general intelligence. So they're taking data from the internet. They basically borrowed the internet. And they got really upset at OpenAI when DeepSeek, which was the Chinese company that basically took all their data and started a new model. It didn't have to train. It was a lot more easier to do, less power because OpenAI done the heavy lifting. So these companies are sucking in all the data of whether it be patents or trademarks, or they've already ingested most of YouTube. And there's a lot of legal battles now saying, "Oh, wait, that was my data. Who owns that data?" And some OpenAI and companies like that are winning, saying, "Well, this is derivative works. This is just like when you were in third grade, you learned something from your third grade teacher. You don't pay Pascal or Newton every time you use physics." And that's what they're saying the fight is for them, that they can leverage data. So our goal is to give people back their data so they own it. Like Joseph, you've created 50, 100 shows now. That's your data. It's the data of your podcast guests. That's really valuable. There's a knowledge base there that would help people be successful in life if they could just access your twin. And you want to own that. You don't want to give it to OpenAI or Google or Anthropic or any of these companies. You want to own it so that you can share that
Although
with the
they
world
have
and be
it.
able to profit from it.
Every time you talk to ChatGPT about me, it can reference every single word. It can reference this specific podcast and everything we said in this podcast. So they have my data.
Yeah.
And that's part of social AI indexing now. Every word you say on social media on a podcast is now indexed on these different AI platforms. It's on Grok, it's on Gemini, it's on, they're aggregating all this data, and now they're able to create and formulate opinions based on these social media platforms or podcast platforms or blog platforms that are referencing my content. It's
Did you want that?
Do I want that?
Did you
Do I
ask
have
for
a
that or
choice?
want that?
No, I mean, well, listen, it helps. So we are now in a place where AI is the decision maker for humans. And if we are going to leverage ChatGPT for helping us make decisions, the way we feed I don't know if it's an algorithm or AI, I don't know what the proper reference tool is for the data we're feeding the web, which then is aggregated on the AI platforms. But we now have to play by the rules of AI, which is feed the web your data so that humans can make a proper or educated decision off of the indexing that the AI is pulling. So here we are. I have no choice. I got to play by their rules. There's not like there's consent forms here to sign or, omit. You just got to just, accept that AI now decides for humans and objectively add all of your content on the web, knowing that it's going to be indexed and it's going to be used to eventually help your business. Or that's my theory.
Well, that's one way. That's one way. I mean, I firmly believe that there's going to be a cancel culture against all this. Just, hey, take my data, take my brain. Tell me when I need to eat pizza at 7 at night. AI, you tell me how to live life. I don't think that's the way it should be.
Well, I mean, it's there now. It's because especially if you're looking at AI to help you with like your BMI or your, to attain fitness goals. It's like, what should I eat? When should I? There's so many different devices already now telling you, eat this, don't eat this, breathe this time. Let me know what, send me your blood work. I'll tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of that stuff is useful. I mean, you're a fit guy, so I imagine you use some of that stuff. And it's useful to know, hey, I got to 11,000 or 15,000 steps today, and my heart rate's at 140. And storing that and then getting personal advice, that's helpful. And people need that. But that will not last. Okay. So we talked about it already, once we reach AGI and all of your data and everybody else's data is in an AGI system, that's going to create a new $1 trillion company that basically tells you what to work and who's employing you and what to eat. So there's a new way. This is where blockchain comes in. So let's just talk really quickly about blockchain. I'll keep it real simple. Okay. When you put this video on StreamYard or YouTube, we've signed a user agreement, and Google says we're storing it on our servers. We're going to give you a service where we distribute this to billions of people, hundreds of billions of people. I'm sorry, hundreds of millions of people, and we own it. So it's on their server, and Google can look into every single aspect of your drive, of your docs, of your sheets, of your photos, and they have access to it. They just do. So on blockchain, however, when you store something on blockchain, this is true about Bitcoin, but it's also true about AI training data, is what it's called. When you store something on blockchain, it's fragmented and stored across multiple servers, and you have to hack or unencrypt that file from all the consensus of the computers at once. So blockchain is going to allow us to own our own data, put it out on the web, monetize it in ways we want without having to just give it to Google so they can have access to it. So that's a key technology here is blockchain, not just for crypto, but for storing our thoughts. And we're going to get away, Joseph, from basically posting on all these sites, and we're going to own it. We're going to have open sites where this is done.
I don't know how that's going to happen or when that's going to happen. I would like to create my own AI twin, take all of my content that I've published, all my blogs, all my podcasts, and have that AI twin then duplicate, these shows or just create content without me even thinking about it based on all of my
Yeah,
data that it has.
done.
And that's live
We
now.
already have that technology. We have that at Twin Protocol now. For example, what we'll do, and I think you were happy to do this for you. And by the way, any of your users here who want to go to twinprotocol.com and sign up, they could, we could let you know to give them a free code or something, Joseph, after this, so they know to get started. So, well, the simple thing we could do is we could take just your video from this particular call, and we could put that and ingest that, quote unquote, into your twin. That's the video data. It's yours. You own it. And so it would look just like this call. It'd have your mannerisms, it'd have your hand up, it'd have you talking, however you talk. Then we'd ingest one or all of your podcasts, and that knowledge base is stored on blockchain, and people could start asking your twin, photorealistic twin, real-time questions, voice to voice, about any of that knowledge. So, Joseph, tell me about you. What do you do? I'm having this trouble in life. I'm having this trouble in business. From your knowledge base, you would be able to guide them. And we have that now.
That's really cool. Right now, from the knowledge base, we're aggregating from general, AI, ChatGPT is the latest one, is that all my team's able to deduct and reason and create all my content, etc. But we haven't got to where it's video. We haven't been leveraging my knowledge base for video content specifically, or, a 24/7 Joseph Shalaby AI avatar that's on standby for a Q&A or anything like that, which is exciting to know that we can do. I'd love to, work on that probably immediately after this podcast. And how fast is a launch?
Real quick, I mean, it's real simple. So what you go to Twin Protocol, user goes to Twin Protocol, they sign up, they acquire an account, they upload just a simple picture of themselves, record 3 minutes of audio, put a few documents about themselves, maybe even just their LinkedIn profile. Done. You got a twin that somebody can talk to right away on the live on the internet.
That's pretty
That's
cool.
minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, we're gonna get that going, and we'll let people talk to the Joseph Shalaby twin on coffeesforclosers.com.
they'd love that. I'm sure.
Yeah, and I love to be the kind of the pilot use case for a lot of our stuff. Now,
Right.
do you think have all of your past ventures been in the tech space, or is this the first AI business that you've launched?
I mean, most of my businesses have been in the tech space. For example, I've done some sports things. I work with the Association of Volleyball Professionals. We started a a national youth program to help people get into the sport. My daughter played the sport, so I had an affinity for it. And I was a two-sport college athlete, so I love sports. So that's a bit of a derivative from that. I've been in the fashion industry. My cousin created a company called Foot Pedals, which was like little designer high heeled shoe things. A lot of your users or listeners probably know it. And so I've been in that industry. But much of what I've done has been in tech because it's so empowering and it helps so many people at scale. And of course, the values of the companies, the multiples you get on companies that you build there can be extreme. There's some crazy valuations now in AI, for example, companies going from 1 trillion to 5 trillion, NVIDIA. So there's a lot of power in that from a business perspective. And I just love it as well.
Yeah, I mean the EBITDA on a tech company is the most. It's like 10x or 20x any other company.
Well, here's
Um,
one for you. When Microsoft invested in OpenAI, this is at the launch of ChatGPT 3.5, the multiple was 676 revenue. So, which is off the chart ridiculous, right? So they barely had any revenue and they got, deca-billion-dollar valuations. And so there's a lot, and some people say we're in a bubble, a financial bubble, and AI is driving that. It's quite possible, actually, because a lot of these companies have valuations that don't have fundamentals based upon how many customers you have and what's your gross revenue and are you profitable. Amazon did that long 20-year cycle where they weren't profitable at all, but obviously we know they changed the entire e-commerce game and how people buy stuff. So but there is a lot of fluff in today's multiples and growing a company, but they're getting ridiculous valuations.
yeah, Amazon just pivoted. I talked to another tech entrepreneur, and they really their revenue, believe it or not, you know where it's coming from, is with ads now. It's more profitable than their
Yeah,
products. So,
yeah, that's all probably 100% margin there,
yeah,
almost.
it's mostly all margin other than payrolls and such. And
Right.
they basically, he was explaining to me that the and this is a big tech entrepreneur. And he just sold his ad company. Um, but he said that the products are basically just content that's all it is, to get people to get companies to advertise on Amazon. I'm like, wow, Amazon? And I'm sure it's not nearly as hyper regulated as like Meta and all these other platforms.
Well, on Amazon, and we'll probably do a lot of shopping there the holiday season this year. You go on Amazon and the sponsored products are right up top. And of course, they know what you've viewed before and they have all the data metadata on you, so they're able to serve up exactly what you want. And then people buy. And many products, especially on Amazon, they're so commoditized now. Like there's so many similar products and they're so inexpensive that it's hard to differentiate. So you really need to have a brand. And this gets more and more important as AI comes around. You know this because you teach personal branding. And it is so important for people, really in any career, to have a personal brand, to stand for something. Because what employers always want and what companies like Amazon want is they want you to bring a following. They want you to bring users to them too, and then people that can either buy or be a part of what they're doing. So having a brand is for advertising is so important because it gets people to spend their disposable income and beyond. As you know, in the US, we spend way beyond and go into debt for consumerism, but that's just how it is here.
Now, my argument, and correct me if I'm wrong, is like in the age of AI indexing, personal branding is imperative for any company just to survive, just because of the decision making that AI is making for the consumers. And those that don't have any personal branding, which is pretty much 97%, 98% of entrepreneurs, they're going to be left in the dust. And those that focus on branding are going to be the ones that grab all the market share and eat everybody's lunch. So I would, venture to say that as we get to, you know, this artificial general AGI or ASI, like your brand is the only thing that you got, and as you continue to build your brand, you're going to be able to leverage AGI much more so than those that never started the process.
So you're 100% right, Joseph. I mean, you are dead on with that. So I got the pleasure to go to a dinner with a gentleman named James Tagg. A lot of the patents around touchscreen technology, which we have on our phones and on our watches, is him. So some people call him the inventor of the touchscreen. Uh, he's got a crazy new business, but I just mentioned it to let you know how far out he is. He actually takes stem cells and sends them to the space station, grows them for 10 days at the space station, sends them back to Earth, and then they use those as organic computer processors, brain cells as computer processors. This guy's name is James Tagg. So after I
That's
hear he's like, "What are
crazy.
you doing now?" and that's science fiction. But the point was, that's science fiction that's here, by the way. The point was, I'm like, so what are you telling your kids to do? Because you're like, you have like a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old, and here you are, foremost front end of the previous tech revolution, and you're literally growing brains as computer processors, which is weird. But that's where he is. He's like, look, and this is replies to your story. I'm telling my kids that they need to be an influencer and they need to be good at sports because those are innately human things. Humans are going to look at other humans and basically go, "Who are you? And what's your brand? And what do you stand for?" So even somebody of that nature who is building tech companies is telling his own kids, "You got to be an influencer. You got to do peak per peak human performance stuff," because that's what he believes in. And that blew me away because it shows you how important, at least that gentleman says, being an influencer is going to be. It's exactly what you're talking about with personal brand.
Wow. That just confirms so much of my theory about, you know, personal branding. And I've been telling some of my kids to do that. Some of my kids are already doing that. Some of my kids are kind of worried about the unnecessary notoriety that you get in public. I was just telling
I get it.
my director here that, like I just went to coffee today and some guy just stopped me on with my kids, like getting them breakfast and like, hey, I follow you. Like just threw me off, and even
Well,
like,
that's
just
what
kind
you
of like,
wish for.
huh? That's the only part I,
That's what you wanted. You wish for. So
yeah, you don't like just when you're out with your family, just getting stopped. That's kind of annoying. But you just have to do it. It's part of the game, it's part of the pro. And
yeah,
now, you know, with where we're entering with AGI and now what you just confirmed in this conversation, it's like you must people must be able to acknowledge you and know who you are and know what the services you provide and the products you provide because that's the world that we're in. And without that knowledge base, you know, you're kind of like you're competing in a very old-fashioned way.
totally old fashioned. You know, we're using the internet now. Cold calling is dead. That's just a few decades old. So we're entering a new phase. And 30% of the world are introverts, right? And you know how many people that want to get started in personal brand, they fiddle around with lighting and cameras and they want to make sure they look right and they put up a green screen and who cares? So, but the thing about AI twins, which we started the conversation with, is my AI twin runs 5 shows for me. Just go to any Bill Inman social media, X, Instagram, Facebook. It's doing the show. Now, I'm not an introvert, but I wouldn't say I love being in front of a camera 247. It's not like the Truman Show for me. Many people, though, they cannot get in front of a camera. Well, guess what? Your twin can make content for you now with photorealistic, and you don't even have to be in front of a camera anymore. So, for those people that are just totally disenfranchised because they're scared to death of being in front of a camera, all good now. Create a twin, have that twin do shows for you, educate your twin to be the best. Everybody on watching this is the best in the world at something. Hang gliding, real estate professional in Las Vegas. They can make all these videos now without being in front of a camera.
That's great. And I wonder the quality of the twin, the caliber of the content it will create in comparison to them doing it themselves. Now, those that are introverts don't want to get in front of a camera that just aren't good in front of a camera, obviously they're going to win with the digital twin because now they don't got to deal with it. But, if we look at the Bill Inman show, and I know that a lot of it's audio, we're talking full visual, mannerisms, everything's in play there, right?
Again, go to Bill Inman on Instagram, watch the shows my twin creates. Sometimes I'm blown away because it looks and sounds like me, there's no doubt. And I don't say any of it. I don't write any of it. I don't say any of it. It just takes from my brain, my twin brain, my vault, and creates the content. I give it a subject. Now I curate it and I edit it because I don't want my twin saying something stupid on my behalf. So I do approve it, give it the blue check. But it's not me. It looks just like me. And it's getting better and better every week.
Wow. A lot of this is refreshing, especially as we start our next new venture, our media company, and we want to offer these services to folks that are terrified of building content or creating content or don't even want to deal with all this. So, me as an entrepreneur, I see another billion-dollar company that I can control with a small amount of uh, personnel. I don't need like 500 people on this with this new venture. I need just probably a dozen, and I can launch a billion-dollar company.
Well, you know what I'm excited about for you, and you're really good at is, first of all, you're super creative. You make fun content, and a lot of the content. I wouldn't say my content's AGI and quantum computing, so I can't really do a bunch of dad jokes about that and make it fun. But what you're really good at, and what you can help people with, and your users and listeners can do this too, is you're getting them into AI and you're showing them how to make all these things and create this around their personal brand, and they can take that to the nth degree. So you're teaching people to teach others. And that's so valuable because the word isn't out what AGI is, what artificial superintelligence is. We didn't even talk about the singularity, which is the book title that we talked about earlier, where AI becomes self-replicating and has its own goals and mission beyond ASI. So I think what you're able to do here is get people started on the track to understanding that AI is for you. You can do it. Here's how to do it. And I think you're going to have a really big business helping people like that.
Yeah, I'm actually meeting with my team. We're launching a school, and SKOOL, a school channel where people could subscribe to and all that. And we're going to be doing, where we're teaching folks how to build their brand, etc. One of the components we're going to add, and this would be probably a main framework, is going to be the AI component. And I don't know if my AI avatar will teach the class. I don't know if I'll teach the class. I don't know. I don't know.
Both.
Huh?
Both.
I don't know if we'll stand next to each
Listen.
other and teach it together.
Yeah, I mean, right here in my office here, I've got a humanoid robot that I've been on stage with, Sophia the robot, who's really well known. And I've been on stage with the robot doing it. It might not be your avatar, it might be you in a humanoid robot, it might be your avatar, it might be a hologram, it might be a chatbot. Your brain might be integrated into somebody else's app, which you'll get paid on.
Which we don't have holograms yet with the AI integration, right? Do you have that
There's
technology?
hologram proof of concepts, I would call them, that are small enough devices where you could project like R2D2 Princess Leia type stuff, if you remember that in Star Wars.
Yeah.
But we're not at scale yet. But what you will find, and is impressive and still really young, is the new Meta glasses have a screen inside of your glasses.
Yeah.
So
Those
when you're
just came out.
yeah, I
Augmented
just got it the
reality
first day.
glasses.
I'm here in Vegas, and I got it at the Wynn. They had a pop up shop, and that overlay that's in your eye will be eventually where it's not a hologram, but it's an overlay, a digital overlay. It looks like somebody standing in front of you and talking to you.
Did you get them
And which will
already?
be weird because it looks like you're talking to nobody. But
So you purchased them?
I did. I bought them like the first week, the new Meta version glasses and it has this screen overlay in your right eye, and they have a wristband that you wear, and then you kind of use these kind of gestures to go
Yeah.
left, right. And I've been trying to figure out what the hell am I going to use this for besides looking like Marty McFly, because they're like huge black Ray-Ban glasses. And I do find it useful. I like to walk and talk on conference calls. So I put the glasses on, and in a WhatsApp or in a Facebook Messenger, the people who I'm talking to can see what I see. So you could be really useful, like, hey, I want to show you what's happening with my plumbing. And you can wear those glasses and you can have your hands in there. So it's cool for active communication. And but don't wear it while you're driving. I was driving it the first night. I'm like, oh shoot, there was like too much going on here, like right in front of my face.
So yeah, so the use cases for those aren't really pronounced just yet, but I'm sure. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg, he was so excited about those. I just don't know
That's
what.
the end of the cell phone. That you're not gonna pick up your phone and have three screens, and you're gonna basically have glasses on, and the screen's gonna be in front of your eyes, and your hands are gonna be free. There's not gonna be cell phones in the traditional sense in very very short time. We're talking about years.
Cell phones will be obsolete soon, huh?
Why would you want it in your hand when it's right in front of your eyes?
I just don't think pretty ladies are gonna want to wear big old glasses.
Contact lenses. It's gonna get
They'll be
miniaturized, but
contact lenses. Like we've gotten away.
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. Aesthetically, I don't know how I'd look in those if I'm gonna be walking around with them.
yeah, I'm sure you'd be fine. But they have the Oakley version, which is like the big sports glasses, the big huge
Yeah,
ones, and then they have the traditional Meta glasses, but they're thicker, so it just looks a little bit bigger.
the Oakley
And
are
of
not.
course, they're
They're
odd
just
because when
Meta.
you they're
They're not
Meta Ray
AGI.
Bans. No,
They're not AGI
they're
yet.
not
They're just
AGI.
yeah. They're not the augment. I mean augment. They're not. I'm sorry. AGI. All these terms. They're not
Augmented reality.
reality.
Yeah, they are. They are. It is augmented reality. So if you've got a map in front of your face, then you're walking path, you're riding a bike, and it's showing you where to turn. That's augmented reality.
So
Your
wait.
reality is
The
augmented.
Oakley ones are augmented reality.
No, those are just tracking devices. I haven't tried those on yet, but I don't think they have the built-in screen because they have the thin
Yeah, that's
lens
right.
like.
Oh, yeah, the augmented reality. And you know who was the first uh, company to roll out augmented reality glasses? Wasn't Meta. I actually did. I'm sponsored by Snapchat. Snapchat was the first company to do it.
I love those glasses. Those were
The
awesome.
Snapchat ones.
Yeah. I mean, they were
Yeah,
the first to put the camera inside of the thing and then you connect it to Snap, and they were way ahead of their time and they should have ran with that.
yeah, they should have. And but they're very expensive. They're like I don't know, $10,000, and they're very ugly. They're massive.
Yeah.
But they were
They
the
got to
first to
miniaturize.
introduce augmented reality.
Yeah, they were a leader there commercially. There was other companies. I live in Manhattan Beach. A friend of mine, Joe, had a company. It was a huge computer you wore on your belt, and it had big glasses. But the commercial version, where you actually could wear them in society, they were early.
Yeah, they were first to drop it. Now, what advice do you think you'd give to a founder who wants to be disruptive in the AI space and feels like they're just an underdog because this is just the most hyper competitive space right now?
And it's oversaturated and it's beyond a buzzword. So AI is three things. It's compute power, the NVIDIAs, the TSMC, the Oracles of the world, Stargate as a project in the US, China building data centers, compute power, big moat, really hard to get into the compute power. You and I aren't going to be able to go start a chip manufacturing business today. We have to raise $1 billion. So then the second part of AI is algorithms. And that is your GPTs, your narrow AIs, your embedded inside of even Siri is a version of an algorithm. And that's where the glut is, right? There is tons of everybody and their mom has an algorithm to sell you now. We're going to help you make you productive with this and your business productive with that. And then the third part of AI is training data. And that's the part that I'm in. That's the part I think is blue ocean. Because what's happened is the algorithm companies, the LLMs, are just sucking in training data, taking everybody's stuff, including all your podcasts as you've seen yourself. Owning your own training data, making that personal, that's a business for an entrepreneur. And then being able to have very succinct and accurate and narrow data for a business or a person. So I like the training data side. Algorithms, saturated. Compute power, too big of a moat. Training data, wide open. That's my advice.
Now, how would I, as an entrepreneur, take my training data and leverage it and monetize it?
Well, we're going to do this exactly for you and maybe for any of your listeners. Take all of your podcasts, put them on chain so you own it. Then you have interfaces to that, an avatar. We also do explainer videos. So we could say, Joseph, explain to me the best way that you come up with creative scripts, or you go out in the field and you come up with ideas. And then an explainer video where it's a hand-drawn kind of cartoony thing immediately would say, here's the 8 steps to have great content. Do it. So those are interfaces. So for an entrepreneur, take all of your training data, And if you're not collecting it, start collecting it. And if you want to innovate in a space, if you want to be the best AI real estate agent in Newport Beach, get every bit of data on Newport Beach that is publicly available, put that in your twin, and have your twin start selling real estate in Newport Beach. What do you mean? It means that I'm a wealthy individual. I just made $1 million on Bitcoin. I live in Mina. I want to move to one of the nicest areas in the US, Newport Beach. Well, who do I talk to? They go to the Joseph Shalaby Newport Beach Real Estate AI. They learn all about the boats and the Christmas light show and all the fun stuff in Newport, what it's like. And your AI sells a house to somebody coming out of the Middle East. So you educate your AI on your business or the business you want to be in, and you put it out there to the world, and it becomes an influencer. What we just talked about. It's everything you're doing and I'm doing. Your AI becomes the influencer for you, driving business. Start with that.
Wow. I mean, easier said than done, but I guess using your AI twin, you're able to launch pretty quickly. Now, what do you think the ultimate end goal is with your legacy here with Twin? What's the ultimate legacy play here?
To make the world a better place where people own their own AI and we're not subject to whatever big tech powerful ASI or AGI. It's very powerful. We're creating a new species on the planet that's as intelligent as us. We're talking about in the next 20 years. So my legacy is I want to give that power back to the people. I want people to own all that data and aggregate it, and the people will create their own AGI so that they have a say in how they make money and if it's beneficial to the environment or not, and so on. So my legacy is going to be, and you and I are friends with Pavan Agarwal, who is the founder of Angel AI, and I partner with him. Our goal is 2 billion AI twins. And that's what we're going to do. So the legacy will be getting to 2 billion twins. Everybody owns their own data. They participate in the new multi-trillion-dollar market.
It's a great goal. And, it's like power back to the people. It's kind of like this agenda that's fighting, something that's ultimately it could be evil, or if in the wrong hands, is evil. And if the people take control of this and understand this, it's very powerful. The biggest problem I see with this is one thing, and I talk to Pavan about this all the time, even within my own company, is adoption. How do
Yeah.
we get adoption, especially at scale, especially with people outside of Gen Alpha, or Gen
Yeah.
Z or Gen X? Like millennials will have a hard time even adopting.
Well, I would do this as a challenge for us, and then for you directly to all of your fan base. Get people their own AI twin where they own the data, right? So all you got to do is get people involved. So start to get people their own AI twin and start to put the content out there, and that goes viral. So you want to get adoption? Let's get your AI twin up and running so that it's educating people 24/7, 365 in 40 languages. So you're now talking Arabic and Mandarin. And then you're teaching people how to get their own AI twin and do the same for whatever they love. So it can go viral. This is all blue ocean. Nobody's done this yet. Get people their AI twin, teach them how to have their own AI twin. And at the Angel AI app, again, on Agarwal, we actually pay people for introducing people to AI. So it's all wide open. Have your AI twin go viral for you and teach it to have other people's AI twin go viral. And then you'll get adoption.
All uncharted waters, all very exciting stuff. Couple last questions before we wrap up. This is about your goals. What's a personal goal that you have for yourself, a family goal you have for your family, and a goal that you have for your business?
Yeah. Well, thanks for the questions. I appreciate that stuff. So my personal goal is, listen, I'm just trying to get better every day, and I've been blessed to be a part of really exciting businesses, and just the day-to-day tactics, man. I'm trying to be a better listener. I'm trying to put myself in other people's shoes, and so I'm really working as hard as possible. And I'm not bad at this, to care about other people and help them reach their goals. So that's what I want. I also want to stay fit because it's such an exciting time, and I want to be healthy, and I want to lead by example. So that's me. For the business, I've already stated that our goal is to get 2 billion twins. So that's there's a metric for you right there. Like, we know exactly where we're going. So now how do we get there? We need influencers, we need communities, we need groups. And from a family perspective, I'm an only child. I have one daughter. Her name's Alexia Inman. Her initials are AI. We did not plan it like that. And I want to make sure that I can leave the world a better place for her, so she doesn't have no clue about this massive change that's coming. I'm on the front end of this because I love my family, I love my friends. I'm trying to find as much as possible because I want to be ready. And so from a family perspective, I just want to make sure that my family's ready for this all, and everybody else, my friends too. So
Perfect. Last question, especially like with all this stuff happening with AI, and I know you want to leave the world a better place, but when you're in front of the pearly gates, what do you think God's going to tell you?
well, I hope he would say, or she, or it. I hope it would say, man, you just left everything out there and did everything you can to be the best you could while you had your time living your life, and you did it for the benefit of others and not just for yourself. I really hope that's my review. I hope I can live up to that every day. It's hard because life's challenges and Maslow's hierarchy of needs and fighting the day-to-day challenges of life can take you away from that. But I would be honored to give that kind of effort to help others.
Well, God bless you. God bless your efforts. Continue to show people the light in this ever-changing, rapidly changing world of AI. Thank you, Bill, for joining the show. If people want to connect with you, how do they find you?
Bill Inman, BILLINMAN, every social channel. So that, again, personal branding, I'm with you on that. You're a master at it. You're doing a fantastic job helping the world
to get
have
better
fun
with
and
your help.
educating. AI twins, man, let's go. This is what we do. And I know that you're going to be a key person in this whole movement because you're an entrepreneur who wants to work at scale and add zeros to everything you do. So I get it.
That at massive scale. And I feel like I'm just beginning my journey. I'm going to be launching various schools, various platforms, various educational platforms, various social platforms. So, I'm really, really excited about this partnership with you. I'm really excited about everything that you're doing. God bless you. I hope we dominate together. And thank you so much. I look forward to having you back on the show.